Okay, welcome to Team Zoom, you guys. Happy Sunday. We do these every single Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I know that people's alarms are starting to go off, and hopefully we'll have some new people and new faces hopping on. But I am so excited because tonight we have someone that makes me nervous, like makes me sweat a little bit. Like I'm like, oh my God. We have Flores on our Team Zoom, you guys. So I just feel honored that you even said yes and that we get to kind of pick your brain tonight. So if you guys have any questions, post them in the chat. But we're just going to hop right on into it so that we can hear all the good stuff and not waste any time. So, Claire, if you wouldn't mind, just share your story and who you are. And, yeah, just give us your story, please.
Hi, guys. I'm excited to be on here. If I look a little rough and flustered, it's because we just moved into a new house that we're renovating. And so I literally just threw some books on the bookshelf just to make it look like here because
if you look rough, I look homeless. So you are totally fine.
My hair under this hat. This hat a lot.
You look good.
Covers a multitude of sins. Yeah, so we just moved into a new house that we're renovating, but my name is Claire. I am an Ambassador Diamond. I am coming up on my 4-year anniversary at the end of this month. So I've been with It Works now for 4 years. I got started, I have 4 kids, and they're all 10 and under, but when I started this business, they were 6 and under, and my husband was working really, really long hours as a general contractor, and he was exhausted, and he was coming home honestly too tired to really even enjoy time with us, and I was tired of it. So I started to look for ways that I could supplement our income so that he could be home more, and I was following Alyssa Billieu on Instagram, and I saw all of her posts, and I saw her life, and I actually followed her for the entire 15 months. From the day she signed up till the day I signed up was 15 months, and I watched every single one of her posts, and the reason I didn't join her is because I thought that I probably wasn't the type of person she would want on her team. And I always share that because there's somebody out there watching you that is maybe just too scared to reach out because they aren't sure if you want them on your team. And so just make sure that you're reaching out, that you're connecting with people, especially people that are silently liking things. Am I really quiet? No? Okay. Okay, so yeah, so I joined her after 15 months of watching her, decided to just give it a try. I went all in. I watched training videos all the time. I was working my business constantly. I was so excited. And within my first 25 days, I went Ruby and I got a $500 bonus. And then my second month, I went Emerald and got my husband his Ruby bonus. And then by 4 months in, I went Diamond and my husband went Emerald, and we got a paycheck that matched what he had made that month at his full-time job. And I said, that's it. You're never going back to work. You're quitting your job. We're going all in with this opportunity. And it was risky, but it was the right move because 2 months later we went double and diamond, and the month after that we went triple and double, and then a year later presidential and triple, and then a year after that I went ambassador diamond. So our journey with It Works has just been a whirlwind. But the summer that, and I'm sorry, my story gets kind of long, so I'll try to keep it succinct. Okay, good. So the summer that I was presidential, so the summer between being presidential and ambassador, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and it completely rocked our world. He was 30 years old when he was diagnosed, 32 when he was diagnosed, and it just rocked our world. It's the last thing you're expecting when you have a healthy 32-year-old husband. And thank God for It Works. God knew that we needed It Works in our life. He knew we needed this company because I was able to pay the bills and say, babe, you can focus on getting better. And he was able to take a really, really aggressive treatment route. And I remember his doctors were sitting there with him and they said, well, what do you do for work? Because honestly, if we're going to get rid of this, we're going to need you in here 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. And he was like, well, thankfully I don't work. So we were able to support him fully through his cancer treatment, and it was 6 months of intensive treatment, and he is now in remission. So yay, so exciting. We're so glad, and he's cancer-free still. And honestly, that's really because of this business that we were able to take that aggressive treatment out. So it saved his life, it changed our lives, and we're lifers with this company. We just love it so much.
Wow. Like when I hear your story, because I have heard it, but I know that like none of my team, I don't think a lot of, well, some of them, but whenever I hear your story, I just think like, praise God. Literally. I mean, like literally he knew what was going to happen, and he had a plan, and he brought It Works into your life for that reason. I just think that's absolutely incredible. So, yes, such a blessing. So when I when I think of you, okay, I don't know if you guys heard her. I hope you did, but she said she started when she had, you said 4 kids under 6 at the time, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I know people that make the excuse of like, oh, I had to go work out today, so I didn't have the time to work my business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if only you knew that. I mean, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So you started with 4 kids under 6, and then your husband was diagnosed with something absolutely devastating, and you still went Ambassador Diamond. And when I hear that, I don't think, oh my gosh, I wish that was me. I think, wow, that can, if she can do it, like I can do it. I think that's incredible. So you mostly work from Instagram, right?
And Facebook.
And Facebook. Okay. So before we kind of get in the nitty gritty, because I'm taking notes just as much as they are. So before we get into like that part, can you just tell us like how did you push like you did with 4 kids? I mean, devastating news, a busy life. I mean, just busy life in general. What did you do to make this business work? What did it look like for you?
Yeah, I think something that's really important to remember is that we have time for what we make time for. And if you really just have to take a look at your priorities. And if you take a day and you write down exactly what you do, you log your hours, like exactly, just a typical day for you, log your hours. What do you do from 7 to 8, from 8 to 9, from 9 to 10? You will be shocked at how quickly your time gets filled with just meaningless things. And so if you just took those 2 hours that maybe you binged a Netflix show and you worked your business instead, you would be shocked at how much progress you would make. And I just had really intentional time, especially in those early days when my husband was still working that 50-plus-hour-a-week job. And I was basically single momming it to these 4 little kids. I was breastfeeding the youngest at the time. So I was busy, busy, busy. But I just made sure that first thing in the morning, I was working my business. What I would do is I'd get up, I'd get the kids up. My husband was gone before the kids were up, and he would come home right at bedtime. So he wasn't around to help me out during those hours of the day. So first thing in the morning, I'd get the kids up and I'd make breakfast and I'd set them down with breakfast. Breakfast would give me breakfast in a cartoon. And that would give me 30 to 45 minutes to work my business while they had breakfast in a cartoon. I would work my business. I'd come out when the cartoon was over, and I would be mom, and we'd play and we'd hang out. I love what Pam Souter says. She says, be fully mom, be fully businesswoman. Don't try to juggle both at the same time. She always says kids are the same height as the cell phone. So don't have the cell phone in their face all the time, because when they look up, they see you on the cell phone. You can have it all. You can have both. You can be fully present with your business and fully present with your kiddos. And so then I would come out and I'd be mom all morning. We'd go to the library, we'd go to the splash pad, we'd go do whatever. I was homeschooling my 6-year-old at the time, first grade. And so I would do her school hours, we'd go out, we'd do things, and then we'd come home for lunch, and they'd get lunch in a cartoon. And if you want to judge me for the cartoon time, it's not much, you guys. It wasn't a lot. My kids are really smart. But we would do lunch in a cartoon. I'd work my business again, and then we'd do nap time. And this is a tip for my moms out there. If you're a mom, just say me in the chat if you have young kids at home, because this is a tip that I hope will change your life from another mom to another mom. So I have always done nap time for my kids, even when they grew out of nap. They would just go up to their room and have quiet time. My oldest would draw or read or listen to an audiobook. And so I was always putting them up in their room for 2 hours in the afternoon. And that was my amazing work time. Like, that was incredible. If they don't stay in their room, you can teach them to stay in their room. That's a different Zoom, but you can teach your kids to do anything. You can discipline your kids to do anything. And so my kids were in their room for their 2 hours every single day, and I worked my business. Then that's over. Quiet time's over. Now I'm mom again until dinner time. And I make dinner and everything, and then I put them to bed, and then boom, I'm working my business again. So I would put in a full solid work day and a full solid day of momming. If you ask my kids if they've regretted that I have my own business, I promise you, my 10-year-old will tell you guys it's the best thing that's ever happened to our family.
Man, it's just being intentional. It's just being like so intentional. And I've had to discipline myself with that. Like, it is, you can get so wrapped up in like excuse my language, but like half-assing your business because you're trying to do both at once. And then you're overwhelmed and you're irritated and you're like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. And right, Jenna's raising her hand. Like, I have been there I'm talking to my team now. Like, I've been there. Ask Kenzie. I've been like, oh my gosh, I feel like I was the worst mom today and the worst businesswoman. And it's because I was trying to do both at once. And then I realized Pam and Cammie would always say, you can do both, just don't do them at the same time. Like, be intentional. And so I think of it as when I used to work 50 to 60 hours a week at a factory, I would walk in, I'd clock in, I had to be there. I couldn't be on my phone. I listened then. So why don't I listen? Like, you just have to be more disciplined. And this is a lot funner. So make the time. But yeah, recording your hours, it'll trip you out, man, when you're like, oh, I just spent a lot of time scrolling. Okay. So, okay. I love hearing tips. Now I'm trying to think, does anybody have any specific questions before I ask mine? If you do, post them in the chat. But it's being intentional. And I feel like when you don't have a choice, like when I started, you didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. I mean, we were being evicted. I'm like, okay, we need to make something work. And I feel like when you just go for it. So can you talk about what an actual like power hour, and you probably do, I mean, to get to ambassador, you were doing multiple a day, let's face it. So what does a power hour for you, an income producing productive power hour look like for you from your phone?
Yeah, so I always sit down and the very first thing I do is add to my network. That's always number one. Well, I do self-development in the morning. So let me just throw that out there first. If you need that to be part of your power hour, then that's number one in your power hour. But
I was going to ask about that specifically. Yeah. If you want to talk about that, please do.
Yeah. For me, that's always first thing in the morning. So I usually have a book that I'm going through. Okay. So not to like overwhelm you, but I will tell you, and you'll hear this again and again, I'm sure you've heard it again and again. Self-development is what will make you a success in this business. You can never do too much of it. You can never take in too much. So I literally get up in the morning and I have my time with Jesus first. I need that first before I can be a nice human. And then I do whatever like book I'm really going through. And this is usually a personal development book. So right now I'm doing It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa TerKeurst. That's my personal development book. This book I will take a long time with. I want to go slowly. I want to really digest it. I want to really take it in. I want it to change me. So that's my personal development. I usually do about 30 minutes of that. I'm journaling with it. I'm really going through it. Then I have my business book, and that's an audiobook. And that's just in my car. Every time I'm in my car, my business book is playing. So I go through business books a lot faster because they're just playing in my car. Currently, I'm doing Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. The last one I did was Start With Why by Simon Sinek. That one was really good too. They're both really good. So those business books are kind of always playing. And then I do It Works training videos, and those are while I'm working. So while I'm doing a power hour, I have a training video up in a little corner of my computer. So I'm kind of always taking in personal development. I think that's so valuable because you'll hear stuff come out that you didn't even know was in there because you've just been feeding yourself like goodness all day long. So my self-development is happening all throughout the day. If you work a full-time job and you really need your self-development to be part of your power hour, 15 minutes at the very first part of your power hour is what I would recommend, or be playing an audiobook while you're working. Okay, so number one, I add to my network, and that is huge for me. I add like 20 to 30 people on Facebook. This is just in a power hour, not necessarily daily, it's just in a power hour. 20 to 30 people on Facebook, following like about 100 on Instagram. And so add to my network first. Next, I will do like 15 minutes of intentional interaction on Facebook. This is not interacting with my team or sidelines. This is only with people who are not part of It Works. I spend some really intentional time interacting. On Facebook for interacting, you'd want to avoid the like button and do the other reactions. And you want your comments to be at least 4 words, not including emojis. Same for Instagram. And so I do my 15 minutes of interacting on Facebook, then I make a post on Facebook because now my algorithm's primed, and then I throw my post out there. Then I'll do 15 minutes of interacting on Instagram, and then I'll throw a post up, and then I'll throw some stories up. But I interact on stories before putting the story up. My Instagram is public, and I really like it that way. I know people have different opinions, but I've had a lot of success with being public. But yeah, so I'm always, before I'm ever putting anything out there, I'm giving back. I always say, like with social media, you can't expect to get more than you give. And social media really does work that way. Like Facebook does not like you to be selfish. Facebook wants you to be a giver. You've got to be really commenting. You've got to be really interacting before you put your own stuff out there, and then Facebook will bump it up. because they're like, oh, she's someone who's really using our platform to connect. So let's let people connect with her. So that's really important. And then once all my posts are up, including my stories, that's when I'm going to go and get host to post up. And I no longer just message for customers and distributors. I just message for host to post. And that's how I'm getting new customers and distributors. And then the last thing I do is I'll message people who viewed my story. And that was a great tip I just recently got from Ashley Blom. Now her last name is a word I cannot pronounce, but Ashley Blom, she had a great tip about messaging people who had viewed her story. So then I do that like at the end of my power hour, and then like follow-ups, of course.
And I love that you just admitted, like, oh, I'm Claire and I learned something new. And now I'm messaging people from my story. Like,
I have so much to learn.
Yeah, no, we all do. And yeah, you guys, Claire was the one that was like, hey, yeah, I went public on my Instagram. And I'm like, Claire went public on her Instagram. So like, I'm going to go public on my Instagram. And it has like, it was, they know. Yeah. So she's the one that recommended public, y'all. Like I shared that with my team. I'm like, okay, y'all, everyone, public, let's all do it. Let's all do it. So, and your following is crazy. So what you're doing is working. And it's just when you say it out loud, you're like, really, that's it? And it is, it's just having that, it's having that discipline. Again, it's just having that intentional focus discipline and being thoughtful in your posts. Like when I go to your Facebook and Instagram, I feel like, oh my gosh, it not only is it beautiful, which y'all, it does matter. Not only is it beautiful, but it makes me want, if I wasn't doing it works, I'd be like, I want to know her. I want to know what she's about and why she's so happy. You know, so I'm going to ask you this question. When you work your business, how do you not get overwhelmed with host to post messaging new friends, messaging people back? How do you not get overwhelmed with that?
It's honestly the same thing as the like be fully mom, be fully business owner. It's the same principle. Like fully be doing host to post, fully be messaging back. If I am getting out a bunch of host to post and I'm messaging a bunch of people for host to post, I will naturally, people will be messaging me back while I'm messaging. I will finish my list of asking people. Mm-hmm. They can wait 10 minutes. They'll be on Facebook for the next 10 minutes. They can wait till I'm complete with that task. So till I go. Also part of my power hour that I forgot to mention just because I wasn't looking at my paper is inbox 0. My goal every single day, at least once a day, is to get to inbox 0, which means I've cleared through all my messages. And sometimes I'm not good at it because sometimes my messages get really big, but that's my goal. When I'm really on it, I keep my message cleared out. And on Facebook, I archive all messages that don't need anything from me right now. If you guys have never done that before, on the app, you're gonna slide and then there's a trash can. Don't worry, it's not gonna delete it. You push the trash can and you can either hide or delete. If you hide it, it just archives it. So you could so I could search Kim's name and her chat with me would come back up, but it's not sitting in my inbox. So that just mentally for me helps me so much because then I go to my inbox and it's completely, there's literally nothing there, only my new messages. And then when I've dealt with a message, then I'll archive it. If there's somebody that's like, hey, I'm gonna go on your site tonight and order hair, skin, nails, then I won't archive them because then if I open my inbox and I see them sitting there, I'm like, oh man, I never saw her order come through. Let me message her again. So that's like a good reminder. That's like a way for me to like keep track. I am not an organized person. So any little hacks like that can make me organized are very helpful because I have tried doing the planner thing and I forget to look at the planner. I've tried doing reminders on my phone and I like subconsciously ignore the reminder. Like I'm just not, like I have to set myself up for success.
100% same. Jocelyn Gates got on my Zoom not too long ago and was like, oh, the reminder app is good. Look.
Yeah, that's how mine always is. I always have like 8 sitting there.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, it's a good reminder because I constantly see it. But I'm not utilizing it like I need to be, but it's cool. It's always right on my phone. Because now that I've been doing this 6 years, I intentionally, on accident, work my business. It will get, it comes to a point in your business where you accidentally work and it becomes easier. But I see that and I'm like, swipe and get rid of that, Kim. Would you just swipe and get rid of that? But I'm the same. I hang out with Morgan Martin and I'm like, girl, your planner thing is on fleek, but like, no. With 2 kids, nah, I'll never remember. And I'll be real. So, I feel you there. And so, yeah, I like that you do the inbox 0 thing because it is crazy how you message and then you're like, oh God, now I got to get back to all of them. Like, and you have stuff going on. So it's just, yes, Laura, it's just being, it's being intentional. Like she said, I love that. So now I'm going to ask you, hold on, I saw someone. I'll just ask it. Have you noticed host to post going down because of the Facebook catching on to host to post? Have you had any issues, or is it still going? I assume it's still going awesome for you.
So here's the thing. It did go down, but it's back up this month. So I struggled with host to post probably like the last 2 months, and we just had to play with it again. Like it just changed. Things changed a little bit, and what was working wasn't working anymore. When I first started solidly doing a lot of host to post every month was last July. I just started going hard with host to post. Like I was getting, 200 to 300 up every month on like an average month, more on the months that I was really pushing. So I was just like rocking and rolling with the host to post last summer. I could throw up a quick status about the cleanse and have 86 comments, right away. Like that's just not how it is right now. So I just keep playing with it, what's hot. So earlier this year, distributor host to posts were just hopping for me. I was just getting like so many new potential distributors with distributor host to post. I was just signing tons and tons and tons. And then that slowed down for me too. And so I'm wanting to try going back to those because I haven't really done them since the spring. But right now what's hopping for me is hair, skin, nails. And bummer, it's a little bit on back order. Is it working for you too?
My team hates me because that's all I do. That's all
I've been doing.
Yep.
That's all I've done this month is hair, skin, nails. It's working really, really well. I think we all got a little crazy with the weight loss with ThermoFight X. We all did so many ThermoFight X host to post, got so many ThermoFight X customers. So people started to ignore the weight loss ones. So that's why I think hair, skin, nails is working right now.
And it's attractive. Like there is something, I don't even have hair. And like females, I mean, they flock. I'm like, y'all love some hair. Like I love skincare. But like what's cool about that is you can upsell collagen. And I've even worked in keto coffee. And like I feel like there's such a broad, I love hair. I've done hair, skin, and nail host to post for like a year. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
So, yes, that's all I do. People get so irritated. Like I'm like, no, it works. Just do it. Just do it. But I love hearing that you do that because I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy. But it just works so beautifully. There's something about skincare. I feel like people just flock to that and they're more open. They're more open to it. And I have worked in the weight loss with it, but.
Well, here's the thing. One thing I'll say, if you just think about the market that's going to be buying hair, skin, nails, they're usually girls that are already dropping money on skincare, makeup, false eyelashes. Like they're okay with buying money for the frou-frou stuff. Like they're already cool with it. So $33, oh, no big deal. My foundation is $50. $33 is nothing. You know what I mean? So it's just working really well. Whereas I think with weight loss, I don't know why people are hesitant to spend their money on their health, which is sad, but I think people are a little more hesitant with that.
It's so true though. I did a whole month of TFX and it was not near. I felt like I had, and trust me, like I can sign up on average, like lots of hair, skin, and nails a month, lots. And upsell collagen, upsell this, upsell that. But I feel like when it's just focused on TFX, people are like, let me think about it. And I noticed that I was doing a lot more, okay, I'll follow back up with you. Whereas hair, skin, and nails are like, I want it. Let's go. What do I got to give you?
I think they're more.
Yeah.
Loss. Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that. So I love that. So what are you doing? Like what is a way, I have another question for you after this, but yeah, Carissa, see, it happens. So I have another question after this, but how do you follow up when you get your customers enrolled? How are you following up with your customers? Do you have I know if you're like me, I'm kind of sort of organized with it, but what do you do for that?
So I'm kind of sort of not organized with it because I'm really not, like when I tell you guys I'm not organized, I'm really not organized. Okay, so I have a little hack where I get my customers to follow up with me because I will forget. So what I do is I tell them as soon as their order goes through, I give them their ID and I say, as soon as your box comes in the mail, I want you to message me because I'm going to teach you how to use your product. So they literally every time they open their box and they text me before they even like open the product because they're like, well, I don't know how to use this. I will not tell them how to use it until they message me. So now I know when they've gotten their product, they're back on my radar, I'm talking to them. Now, once they message me and tell me they've gotten their product, then I'll set a reminder in my phone to reach out to them for their next order coming. But that way it's on them. Like, some people don't message me, and that I'm honestly okay with that because they know it's on them. And those are usually just my really self-sufficient customers that are going to log in and check on their own stuff anyway. So it's like not that big of a deal. I don't know if that's the best way to teach you. If Kim is organized with it, then just take her tips.
No. I do the same thing. I do the same. I'm like, I do send an email. So I love hearing you say that you don't have to be perfect. Because I tell my team all the time, y'all, I'm not organized, but I enroll consistently. My volume goes up. Like, everything's all good. My customers are telling me they love their stuff. And it's because I say, hey, listen, as soon as you get your stuff, I need you to reach back out to me because I want to show you how to use it. Yeah. And I put that in my email. It's right in my email. So I love that you don't have to be perfect. Like, I just had someone text me the other day. They're like, oh, they're 3 months went by, I didn't follow up. I'm like, listen. You're good. Yes, you're good. You're doing awesome. You don't have to be pen and paper at the specific time. You get frazzled. You get so frazzled. So having that little hack, I love that you do that. You're like, hey, as soon as you get your stuff, like, everybody write that down. That's good. As soon as you get your stuff, reach back out to me so that we can make sure you're using it correctly. That is really good. And you're right. Some of them won't.
Yeah.
It happens. But
they're never mad about it.
Yes, exactly.
Reach out to me. They know it's on them. So like, it's never been a big deal.
That's a good one. I'm really glad you said that. That's really good. So love that. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the team members who quit really quickly, because I have a lot of people. We just had someone pop diamond, pop double, and I know people get frustrated when people all of a sudden don't want this. And instead of thinking, oh, they quit on me, they didn't quit on you. They quit, period. They quit, and that's okay. This isn't for everyone. So can you just talk, not even about anything specific, just can you talk about, I mean, I'm sure you've had lots of people quit. I feel like the more successful you are, the more quitters you have. And so that's all right. So can you just talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, the very first thing that I'll say, and I say this to my team all the time, is successful people find a way around instead of a way out. So that's a little something, if you want to write it down. Successful people will find a way around instead of a way out. And I tell that to my team all the time, because there are constantly in this business, there are going to be obstacles that are going to present themselves, and you will get through it if you just find the way around. There's always a way around. There's always a path around it. And so when somebody quits, that's when we just look for solutions. Like, you've got to just be solutions minded. Okay, who under them can I pull up? Okay, who under them can I pull up? And, if you start really going through like your compensation, which I'm not an organized person. I'm not green. I don't understand all that. But Amber Parker went over my checks with me, and she was showing me like compression and how I have people on like level 16 that I'm being paid as like level 5 because they just compressed up from all the quitters. And they're rock stars that were deep down in my organization that have pulled up because people quit. One thing I'll say to you though, and this is kind of a side note, don't burn bridges ever. Whoever quits in your business, don't burn bridges. I cannot even tell you. I actually made a collage the other day to show my team because it was mind-blowing to me of, in the last 6 months, the former distributors that have messaged me to become my loyal customer because they're done with the business, but they still want the products, but their upline or their enroller blocked them. And they said, I had one girl message me. She said, I heard a rumor that you're one of the only people that's nice to ex-distributors. Can I be your loyal customer? I didn't even know her. I literally didn't even know her. And now she's ordering from me every single month. But her enroller had blocked her when she quit. And so don't burn bridges. And here's the other thing. So many of my quitters have come back. I just started somebody on June 30th. She used to be an emerald in my team, and she quit for personal reasons 2 years ago. And now she's back, and she's rocking and rolling on my 2.0 account. So you never know. Sometimes it's just timing for people. And if people have to walk away, there's a reason. There's a reason that they're stepping out of your business. And maybe they weren't supposed to be with you for this season, and that's okay. And I will say, like, when somebody comes to me and they say they're going to quit, I try to help them, talk them off the ledge. Like, I try to talk to them and I try to say, okay, Why are you wanting to quit? Is there something we could fix here? Do you need more support from me? Is there what is it that's pushing you to want to quit? Because maybe there's a solution for that. And a lot of times I'll talk them out of it. Sometimes I won't, and I'll just say, well, I wish you well in whatever you go to. Like, I really am. I wish you the best. And then they end up either coming back to the business or wanting to order products and things like that. And so never burn a bridge, unless of course they're like attacking your team and they're, doing something shady. Then then Mama Bear comes out and I start protecting people. But if they're not being shady, they're maybe just being a little bitter, just let it go, just let it lie type of thing. But here's the thing, when somebody quits in your organization, it's your job to move forward. You move forward with what you have. So you maybe cry about it for a little bit. I lost a diamond last year. That was like a very good friend of mine. We'd gone on the cruise together. We'd made all these memories together. And she didn't leave in any bad blood. She left to start a different business. It wasn't a network marketing business. It was like some other type of business. Anyway, I bawled for like a day. And then I had to be done. And then I had to look at, okay, who else can I use? And then I reached out and I found this awesome girl that now I'm partnering with that I wasn't really talking to before. And so there's always good that's going to come out of it. But I think just the key, the underlying, bottom line is just find a way around, find a solution, because there always is one. And the cool thing about this business is there's always somebody you can pop up. So reach out right away and say, girl, listen, I'm looking for my next diamond. Are you it? Let's do this together. And then they get all excited. So, and then sometimes that's even better than trying to work with somebody whose foot was already halfway out the door anyway.
Well, and why sit and stew on it when you could be, girl, you got goals. When you have goals, stop letting I don't let anything come between me and my goals. And I love that. And it happens. Network marketing is not for everyone. You can't be mad about that. You literally can't be mad about that. They didn't quit on you. It wasn't a personal thing usually. So, move on, and that's so true. When you look in the depths of your charts, sometimes you find that person that really did want this, but you really didn't see them until you're like, oh, you're awesome. I didn't realize you were hustling like you were, and I'm excited to work with you. But, it happens. I'll never forget, my sister was an emerald when I went diamond a long time ago, and she quit, the month after going emerald, and I'm like, what? Quit, walked away. I don't want to do this no more. I have to have it. She was like, I need a secure paycheck. I need to know. She had a whole different mindset than me. I'm like, this is, if you were, wait a minute. But she is a total different money mindset than me, a whole different hustle. And so she went and got a job at a bank and still is there. And, was expecting, I'm not talking badly, she's expecting her first child. And she's like, wow, I have to go back to work. And I'm like, I love you so much, dude. You're my best friend. But, we just had a different hustle mindset. And, but I'll never forget that. And I still rose above, and it's just crazy what happens when you just, move forward. So I like that. Don't take it personally. But okay, so I don't know, man. Does anybody have any other really good, awesome questions? You're just the sweetest. You're like super, super kind. I could sit and talk to you all night long. How old are you again, Claire? Can I ask?
I'm 30. I'm the dirty 30.
The dirty 30. Girl, get it. That's so crazy. You're so young. How do you teach? Ooh, that's a good one. How do you teach layered leadership? That's a good one.
Okay. So I have 2 books sitting right here because I just unpacked them. But these are my favorite books on leadership. This is the first one I read. It's The Power of Layered Leadership. You can see I have tons of Post-it notes in it. And this is by Bob Goshen. This is a really, really good book about, obviously, layered leadership. So that's the first one I'd recommend. The second one that you have to read, but let me premise it by saying it's long and it's a little boring. But Multipliers by Liz Wiseman, I will never stop recommending this book on leadership. It is absolutely incredible. And if you really want to become a solid leader, read this book. She talks about how basically everybody in our organization, we are either multiplying ourselves or we are diminishing our organization by just how we are treating like the leaders in our organization. And I had this huge aha moment when I read this book, because we always hear the phrase duplication. We always hear that you want to duplicate yourself. And I had this massive aha moment where I realized that I don't want to duplicate myself, because if I'm duplicating my strengths, I'm also duplicating my weaknesses. I want to multiply myself. I want to multiply my efforts. I want to replicate myself, but better. I want better versions of myself. I want stronger leaders than me. I want people who are better at posting than me, better at host to post than me. I want people higher in the income earners than me. I want people that are making bank with this business, that are successful, that I have to struggle to stay ahead of, because they are so amazing, because I've trained them so well. That's what I really, really want in this business. And so that really opened my eyes to how I can multiply the leadership on my team. So what I do, and speaking to the leaders on here, you have got to put people in positions of leadership, even if, and especially if, you could do it better. Because chances are you could do it better. Chances are you could make a better graphic for the team page. Chances are you could lead the Zoom better. Chances are you could lead the Power Hour better. But you don't want to always be able to do it better, because eventually you want the luxury of sitting in the back of the room and watching your team put on an event. You want the luxury of sitting back on a Zoom while your team trains the rest of the team. So you have to get them to that point. And sometimes, you guys, I have a leader, I'll ask a leader to step up and do the Zoom, and I sit there and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Like, they have hives and they're so quiet and they're not muting anybody, and like it's so bad. But then the next time they're better, and the next time they're better, and they keep getting better. So just calling it out, giving people responsibility. I thrust people into positions of responsibility. My team page, I don't lead it exclusively. I lead it with a board. We're literally called the board of directors. And I just ask my team who wants to step up and lead. I ask my diamonds and above who wants to step up and lead. So we have about 15 people that lead together. We meet once a month. We have board meetings. We decide what direction we're taking the team. And what's happened is that there's some really, really strong leadership that's raising up out of my team. And a lot of them are doing a lot of stuff better than me. And I'm really okay with it. I'm really okay with it.
That is really good. That is really good. Because I won't lie, just recently, I'm talking like last week, I was like, okay, I should probably start like delegating, because I have that. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll just get it done. I'll do it. I know what I'm doing. But Morgan Martin was like, Kim, you've gotta give your team, things to do. And it is so true. You want people. I do want to be able to stand in the back of the room one day and watch my team. That's so true. I love how you put that. So just kind of delegating. I hate to use that word because it sounds like what I used to do in fast food, but we're not talking that kind of delegating. So that's just really good stuff. So, man, I'm trying to think of like, do you have anything that you want to say as far as like, I don't know, the season that we're in, maybe plugging in, anything? Is there anything you can add?
I think one thing that I'll say really quickly, because we're in the summer right now, that I went ambassador last November, the end of November. And here's the thing. I started my run for ambassador in July. And that was when I flipped a switch and said, I'm going ambassador. And I think a lot of times we get this mental, and depending on how long you've been in the business, you might have different views on this. But I think a lot of times I get this mental perspective of like, okay, spring is when the big promotions happen, and summer and fall, I'm just kind of getting ready for spring. But last summer I had this moment where I was like, no. God promised me that 2018 I'd be an ambassador, so this better happen. So I got to get to work. And so in July I started hustling like crazy. And July, August, September, October, and then November I promoted. I was working like I've never worked in my business before. And so what I just want to say is don't count out the rest of the year. Make a goal of what you're going to be by Christmas. Make a goal of what you're going to be by Thanksgiving, what you're going to be by a Halloween. Make these big goals for the end of the year, for the fall. And it starts right now. It starts right now. This is when you really make your decision, because it takes about 3 months to really see fruit of a good month in the business. So if you are going to have a really good July, you're going to really see that in August, September, October. You're really going to see that fruit of that, or September, because you're signing people. So really just push through these summer months and you'll shock yourself with the nest egg that you're going to build for yourself that's going to carry you through the winter, how you're going to line your bank account to carry you through the winter. So these are very, very crucial months. And I know it's summer and it's fun to be outside, but separate your time. Like I said, here's the thing. We're renovating a house right now. We live close to family. We're getting invited to stuff all the time. I'm working right now 5 hours a day because I want to go to Costa Rica. So I'm working 5 hours a day, but I'm working it throughout. I went out for breakfast with my family and for dinner with my family today. We went and ran a bunch of errands. We hung out. We took the kids places, but now I'm going to sit and work, And so you just find the time and just make it a priority because it pays off big time.
It's so true. In 6 years, I've realized like the summer might seem like where's everybody at, but it does. It leads up and you will be shocked what happens in the fall. Shocked. And it's my favorite. The fall, not only like the season is my favorite, but the season in this business, if you're working those summer months and you're plugging away and you're getting the no's and the yeses, like it all leads up to fall and it is so rewarding. You feel like, okay, that's why I worked so hard. That's why I did what I did. And I mean, you probably feel this way too, but when you talk about how you went to breakfast and dinner and stuff like that, there's two different people. There's people that say, it's summer, I want to have fun. I'll work my business another month. I'll do it some other time. And then there's, and then I think this way too. Like I constantly tell my team, I live this life of freedom where, I get to be home with my two kids full time and take them to school and volunteer and do whatever we want because of this business. So don't make that an excuse, or else I can't even imagine what my life would look like in the fall if I was like, well, I mean, I'm triple dime. I'm gonna let my team handle it. I literally would not have good paychecks. I would be flustered and like, oh my gosh, no, we can't live this life that we're living because I made my business an excuse all of those months. So yeah, that's why I sit down and I focus at least an hour a day, if not more, because I never ever want to lose what I have and what I've earned. So you've been so awesome. Your tips and tricks and all that good stuff have been amazing. And you're in the top 100 now, or you have been. But are you in? Oh, you're probably not saying. Wait, you're probably not saying. Is it a secret?
Well, I just I'm just so weird about it. Like I just don't talk about it much because I feel so weird about it, and because numbers really do change a lot. But I am currently in the top 20.
Top 20? I wasn't going to ask all that, but whew, oh my goodness. I wasn't going to
hold it though. I got to hold it for Costa Rica. So.
Wow. Yeah, you do. Yes. Wow, you guys, top 20. And she works from Instagram, y'all, and lives a life that she gets to live because of this business. That's inspiring. And it literally makes me think, okay, I'm talking right to you. I can have it. Like you guys, we can all have it. It's just putting in the time. And so it's so exciting. You've been so awesome, Claire, and we appreciate you so much for being on here and pouring into us. And we can't wait to see what they announce on the family call in about 15 minutes. I'm so excited.
So exciting.
Is there anything else that you want to add, or are we good to go?
Well, I did see somebody asked a question. They said, how do you handle people that don't get results with the product?
Yep.
How do you not let it affect you personally? I feel like that's two very different questions. But the first question, you have to have your own results. Because if I have my own results, then it really doesn't rattle me when people don't get results because I know the products work because they work on me. And so it's really, really easy for me to have a conversation that they're not working on. And again, it's solutions minded and finding a way around instead of a way out. And it's saying, okay, well, how much water are you drinking? What are you eating like? What are you exercising like? Let's talk. Maybe this isn't the best product for you. Let's try something else. Hey, I'm going to send you a sample of the keto coffee. Why don't you try that? See if you like it. If you like that, we'll switch you to that next month. Just be really solutions minded. A tip that I learned from Mel Robbins is she said that you should never give away your power by saying, I'm sorry. When you say I'm sorry, you immediately submit yourself to the person that you're saying I'm sorry to. So when a customer comes to you and they're upset about a product and they think that maybe it didn't work, don't say I'm sorry, because now you're taking fault as though you knew the product was bad or as though you're admitting the product is bad. Instead, just say, okay, girl, well, let's figure out what else we can do for you. How, like asking them questions, being solution minded, but always validating them too, because I think customers, they don't want to be like made to think that like they're imagining it or faking it. And so be like, girl, that's so weird that you had that experience. Like, I haven't heard of that happening, but I do have a couple of ideas of how maybe we can fix this for you. You know, that sort of thing. But never being like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me ask my enroller what they think, you know, like stuff like that. Like, don't do that. Like, be confident, be excited, and all of that. And voice messaging can really help. Not letting things affect you personally, though, I think that's honestly just like a personal journey that I think some of us don't struggle with it as much. I struggle with it big time, big time, big time. For me, the book Nothing to Prove by Jenny Allen changed my entire life as far as taking things personally. So that is a book I would recommend if you struggle with taking things personally.
I didn't even see that, so thank you for answering that. I had the check.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, this was really good, and it's so true. If you have your own personal results, it's so hard to be like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, no. I know it works because I use it every day, so we're just going to figure this out. That was good. Yes, so thank you for answering that. But this was awesome. We appreciate you so much. I feel like goodbyes are always so hard and awkward because we don't want to see you go, but we have to see you go eventually. So we appreciate you, and I hope that you guys get on the family call in about 10 minutes. And yeah, thank you, Claire. You're the best.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night. Have a good night. Bye, guys.